Rockets handed the Heat their first loss of the season last night, outscoring Miami 24-25 in the final quarter. James Harden finished with 25 points, 10 assists, 9 rebounds, just 1 rebound shy of a triple-double. Houston is off to a 5-0 start. And according to Elias, the Rockets are the first team in NBA history to score at least 100 points and allow fewer than 100 points in each of his first 5 games of a season. So, Stephen A. Smith, I'm just looking at these numbers. Are you buying the Houston Rockets as a legitimate contender, this team right now?
Well, that depends on your definition of a legitimate contender. If you're talking about somebody that's going to make the playoffs and possibly advance to the semifinals of the Western Conference, sure, I'm buying it. If you're talking about legitimate title contention, meaning finishing in the Final Four of the NBA, hell no, I'm not buying it at all. And by the way, I'd like to extend a good level of congratulations to the Houston Rockets. You finally beat an NBA team. Congratulations. My hat's off to you. You beat the Miami Heat last night.
Okay.
Who did you play prior to the Miami Heat last night? You played the Lakers, you played the Utah Jazz, you played the Boston Celtics and the Philadelphia 76ers. What do you want, a cookie? You got Dwight Howard, one of the premier big men in the game. You've got a star in James Harden, who's averaging 27 a game, but shooting 38% from the field, by the way. Trevor Ariza is definitely an upgrade as far as I'm concerned from Chandler Parsons on the defensive end of the floor. Plus, he's giving you 17 points a game on 58% shooting. That's nice. But you still got the Terrence Jones of the world, the Patrick Beverleys of the world, and others. These brothers can play. They're hardcore. They'll go at it. They'll compete. But is this team visually, aesthetically better than what we saw from them last year? I don't think so. Not much. They just had a relatively weak schedule to start off the season. They did beat the Miami Heat last night. The Houston Rockets are a damn good basketball team. James Harden is a flat-out stud offensively. Dwight Howard is good for 17 and 10 a night at least. Trevor Ariza is an upgrade, but they're still not better than San Antonio. They're still not better than the Clippers. They're still not better than a healthy Oklahoma City squad once Durant and Westbrook come back. They're not better than the Portland Trailblazers, who took them out in the first round last year. I'm telling you right now, it's not happening. The Houston Rockets are what we think they are. They're a good team that's still missing a championship piece, period.
And what would that piece be?
I would say, you know what, I think they need better point guard play. Patrick Beverley is real tough, hard-nosed defensively. But the reason why I view him as a big-time backup as opposed to a starter, Skip, they need, when you look at the Damian Lillards, the Chris Pauls, the Tony Parkers, the Derrick Rose, the Russell Westbrooks of the world, James Harden needs somebody like that. I shouldn't say he needed because he really doesn't. But the Houston Rockets as a team need somebody at that position that can give you that level of production. And I also think they're going to regret letting Asik go because you needed that additional big body to help Dwight Howard. Remember, Dwight Howard is 6'9.5" without shoes on. Remember that.
Okay. I cringed when you brought up my Spurs, saying clearly the Spurs are better than the Rockets because I must point out that last year during the regular season, the Rockets owned my Spurs. They beat them all 4 times, and it really wasn't even close any of those 4 times. But somehow my Spurs won it all by a record margin in the NBA Finals.
And was it 5 or 6 games?
I think it was. Is it 5?
It was
I think.
5.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Anyway, back to the question.
Skip.
Yes.
There's no way the Rockets would have beat the Spurs in the playoffs, by the way, but go ahead.
I would agree. I do think there's a big way that at Houston on this Thursday night, that's a TNT game, I'm pretty sure, I think my Spurs have no shot in that game. This team is playing at an extremely high level, in part because it is raining threes right now. They made 17 of 37 threes last night at Miami, and even though the Heat hung in at the 7-minute mark, Heat only down 4, the threes were just falling from the ceiling. Trevor Ariza made 3 just in the fourth quarter last night that seemed like he was falling out of bounds when they left his hand. And he's now made 21 of 35 for this season, which is 60% from 3. once again, they're off to the races, taking the most threes in the league. They led the league last year. They'll lead it again by far this year. My point is that they do live and die, probably to a fault, with the three-point shot. But what I did like and respect about them last night, Stephen A. Smith, we know Dwight can defend. I thought James Harden made a couple of big-time defensive plays last year. You have been hard on him about his lack of defense. He is capable, to me, of playing big-time defense when he decides that's what needs to be done. Last night he decided, and he came through. I thought their team played good team defense last night. I think Trevor Ariza has been a little addition and upgrade in that regard. So can they continue that? I think they're going to have a really good record by the end of the regular season. Then we'll find out what they're made of. I don't love a team built around Dwight Howard, but I've said that from the start. Sometimes that can be a little bit too much of a soft middle. But I do like them so far. They're off to the races, man.
They are off to the races, and anytime you can hit threes, you're going to be prolific. And let's be careful about what we say about James Harden. We know how sensitive he can get.
The only thing I've
ever said about this guy negatively is that he didn't show up in the NBA Finals. That's it. Other than that, I mean, everything about this guy is great, and his defense has been highly questionable. He did make some good defensive plays last night. I'll give him credit because I am seeing a concerted effort on the defensive end of the floor now than I've ever seen in the past. Clearly, Coach K, Mike Krzyzewski, has had a profound impact on him in terms of him paying attention to both ends of the floor. But we know that James Harden is an absolute stud, and I believe in Dwight Howard as well. I just don't think that in the West, that duo is enough to get you through Portland, the Clippers, San Antonio, and a healthy OKC.
And, healthy OKC. But now I look at the bottom of the playoff chart, and I see New Orleans. They're starting to come around because that kid's really good.
He's really good.
He's going to be really good. So I'm saying, wow, the West just keeps getting better and better.
He was on our show. He said he should have been. Did he say he should have been the MVP when he was on our show during All-Star?
They were chanting MVP for him last night in New Orleans. Yeah. I'm not ready to jump on that bandwagon.
Not quite yet. Go ahead, Stephen A.
I'm not ready either. But I'm not ready either. But Anthony Davis is going to be big time. He is going to be a superstar in this league. I believe in this kid's skill set, his mentality. He's big time. But I'll tell you who I also believe in, Skip. I believe in the Portland Trailblazers as well. They are coming because, Skip, when it's time, they can defend. And when you see their backcourt, especially somebody like Wesley Matthews, I mean, these boys get up in you. And Lillard's got a lot of heart, too. I like Portland. I'm liking Portland rather more and more and more.
Stephen A., I need you to help me take us to break because I want to ask you a question. It'll lead us to our next topic. Where can people find your radio show? What station are you on?
Sirius XM, Mad Dog Sports Radio, every weekday, 1 to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
From my understanding, you had
Channel
Skip Bayless.
85.
Channel 85. Did you have Skip Bayless on yet? You did, back in the day, right?
Yes, I did. I'm going to have him on again. Don't worry about it. Skip will get plenty of time on the show.
Get plenty of time, Skip. Don't worry about it.
I'm okay.
But you did have Jerry Rice on the show.